welcome to my video. I've been talking the last few days about making wooden needles from various materials. And the latest I've come up with, I'm making a new video to replace the old one because the graphics on the intro wasn't too good. So these are the needles, the pieces of wood that I'm using from bamboo skewers. They are very hard. They are, points last longer on them. They're kiln dried and they are pressure treated. So this is what they look like. They're square and you cut them off to a certain size. And I'm going to start sanding this one. I'm going to make a point on it. The ones when you cut the ends off, they already have a point on them. Then I'm going to show you just how long it takes to make one. I'm going to use the other file, it's a lot better. You got to give it a point, like on the bamboo skewers, the end of the skewer. The video I used before was blocked in Russia, so I'm doing a new one with different music, so it doesn't get blocked. The idea is just to sand it until you got a point. Similar to it's very similar to the steel needles. They have a point, but they're longer. I may make this shorter. I don't know yet. It takes a good 10-15 minutes to make one. And I think you could probably sell them for $5 each because they last for 50 to 100 plays. Whereas the other ones are only 8 plays and they're the standard ones. These are rounded, they're not in a triangular shape. I round them. Make them round. Okay. Now that I got it tapered, I got to get it down to a point. And make the point all the way around. Not just on one side, but all the way around, so you can turn them around like you do a steel needle. And it's very easy to do this. And the material is so hard that it does not break when you're sanding or playing them. I got about 8 or 9 of them. I'm going to give out a few at the meeting. Probably won't charge for them. And I will give out some bamboo skewers. About 8 or 9 emery boards for people to use. Try them out during the break or whatever. I'll bring some of my good records. I'm debating bringing my gramophone because I want Brian next to have a look at it. And Brian, if you're hearing this, I'm thinking of bringing the gramophone in so you can bring it back to Sarnia and work on it. Give it a clean up, a bit of a tune-up. So now has a point. It's a good idea to look at it with a magnifying glass. Make sure you got a good point. It's fairly sharp. Okay. We're going to make it even and take it down a bit like I do like the others are when you buy them. There's no sense wasting the wood. So you use the whole bamboo skewer, except for the end. And it's hard to work with. Now what I have to do is take a handle, make a handle for it. You don't have to take much off. Just a little bit. At the end of this video, at the end of this sanding, I'm going to put it in the gramophone, the new one, and just play a record on it. I could cut it down a bit smaller. I like them long, so you can taper them. I taper them fairly good, and you can work on them and make them, I would say 50 to 100 plays on a record with this. All you have to do is sand the point down a little bit, not very much. You can feel it. It's got a point on it. I'm going to give it a better point, tapered point, nice and sharp now. The ones that you cut off the end of the skewer are much better because they already have a uniform point on them. This is leftover materials, but it's still good. And here I give a plug for the store wall. We've got some new items in. We've got a couple of nice swords. Chests. We've got all kinds of new stuff come in. So if you want to have a look, come down to 367 Ottawa Street South in Kitchener, Ontario. There's a building there on 367 Ottawa Street South. I can forget the name of it, but we're under the Fleet Shoes sign. It's an old business that used to be in here. We have all of our stuff in the store. We have over, I would say, 30,000 items in the store. It's a big warehouse. It's kind of cluttered, but a lot of people like that. Some people don't. It's kind of cluttered right now, but we're working on it. So I'm going to keep sanding this just to give you real time on how long it takes to do it. Again, the emery boards are good. In fact, they're better than the sanding block because you get control over it. Control over how much comes off, etc. So, I think I've been going for about 10 minutes now. This video needed to be made. It's a good one. And as usual, I'll be at the CAPS meeting on Sunday, Canadian Antique Phonograph Society. Plug for them. We are in Scarborough at the Progressive Campus. When you get in there, just phone, if you want instructions, phone 519-590-5732, and I'll be glad to give you the instructions on how to get into the campus. It's a fairly good meeting. You have a silent auction, not a silent auction, you have an auction, and you have a couple of presentations, plus a Zoom meeting for the auction. So if you can't make it, sign up on Zoom. I'm going to ask Brian to put the link in on the video for new members. I can put it in maybe later for everything you need. It's a lot of fun. If you own a gramophone and never been out to a gramophone meeting, this meeting is for you. You have a lot of fun. You get to see all the old gramophones that people bring in. New stuff, old stuff. You name it, we've got it there. Not all the time, but we do have it from time to time. So I'm still working on this bamboo stick. It's a lot harder and I guess it's a lot tougher to work with for sanding. It is by far the best way to make them because it'll play any record. I wonder if it'll play the diamond disc record. It would ride along with it, so we could try one. It won't hurt it. That tip is not fine enough. I'll get it later. And it's still not good enough. I'm going to give this some more work. I want this uniform. The more you work on it, the better. If you're going to want to keep this tip. One tip, one gramophone. That's all you need. I make 5 or 6 to give them away. Question for you guys out there that buy steel or buy the needles, the bamboo needles. You normally pay $1 for a little wee one. Are these worth $5? Let me know in your comments if you think they're worth that. I put a lot of work into them, but I don't need to get $5 for them. I just give them away. And I'll give away the instructions on how to do them and everything. You need a uniform tip. It has to go down, basically be straight. You look at it, this one's curved a little bit. Not too bad. In fact, the straighter they are, the better. I'm going to take the center of it and round that off so it's like a steel needle. This will add to my 6 or 7 already made steel needles. I mean, fiber needles, not steel. can't do this with steel. You could, but very difficult. It needs a lot more work. This is too big. I can tell by looking at it. After a while, you get to know. Okay. Take quite a bit off and round it. That's the whole idea. Then you don't have to worry about which way it's facing in the reproducer. If you do it right, it's facing the right way all the time. We're going to use 2 new records that I've never heard before. Brand new records. That should fit. Let's try it. Please sharpen it every time you use it. Probably too big, but that's okay.
you monkeying around the winter when I'm gone. If you monkey around the winter, I'm a-telling you the fact. My big black brother will come a-sneaking back. I'll hate you, boys, if you monkey around the winter when I'm gone. So now we'll leave in this big world of sin. One pretty woman with a lot of you men, but let me warn you, boys, don't you monkey around the winter when I'm gone. So now we'll leave in this world of sin. We sat at a table for two. The first thing I knew, she whispered, "Oh boy, I could sure go for you." My heart beat a little bit quicker as I held her sweet little hand. I swelled up with pride, but oh how she lied. I sure was a foolish young man. 7 beers with the wrong woman. She made me get up and dance. Around and around we circled till I missed my money from my pants. I asked her if she had seen it. She smiled up at me and said no. To this day to me, it's a big mystery. I wonder just where did it go. 7 beers with the wrong woman. Her husband walked in after that. And as soon as he spied us together, he rushed up and gave me a bat. He took me by the seat of my britches, and he sure did jerk up the slack. And then I got tossed out the door by the boss, and he told me to never come back. 7 beers with the wrong woman, it left me only regret.